Welcome back, Star Goblin Radio here. We've got some news on the Phantasy Star TTRPG. This information comes from Skydawn Games' Twitch stream. Make sure to check out the link in the description of this video if you want to check out that video. Just a reminder that the deadline for pre-ordering is going to be September 1st of 2025. We're on schedule for the physical copies of the books to start shipping out late September, early October. After pre-orders, the books will be available online through the distributor and eventually make their way to Amazon and our local gaming stores. Skydawn Games is planning on releasing a video of some gameplay. This will be an adventure called The New Pioneers, a Phantasy Star Online adventure written by Rich Lescaflair, who is designing the rest of the game. Whatever this gameplay footage looks like, be it a recording they upload or a live stream, it probably won't occur until the fall, and definitely after the release of the game. If you didn't get a Meow Pin, there are a couple left, and if you're going to PAX Unplugged or Gamehall Con, you might be able to track down Rich and ask for one of these. They're available for people who pre-ordered the game. And now, let's jump into some crunchy bits. We already know from previous news that your character's origin can contain an environmental background. This represents the type of world your character comes from. We've been provided examples of some of these environmental origins, which include worlds such as high gravity, Arctic, extreme heat, underground, and remote or isolated, and the example we were given for that was a satellite. It was confirmed after the Twitch stream and Discord that humans gain one of these at character creation. Other species can take environmental origins, but they have to trade in one of their species traits and replace it with the environmental origin. I like this as it reflects humanity's adaptability, while also providing customizability to the other species if you want to change their backgrounds. The environmental origins provide several bonuses. Some of them include a proficiency with vehicles, and others may provide you advantage in certain settings or scenarios, and disadvantage in others, so there's a bit of give and take. It was also mentioned that the human species gain additional fate points. Not sure how many that is, but they do get more than the other species. For a full preview on what fate points are, check out my TTRPG news, how Phantasy Star is not 5e D&D. Additionally, for species news, the Dazolians are said to have innate magical powers. When asked what this means, it was explained that they automatically gain access to some techniques, two examples being anti or anti. This is a technique from the games that would allow you to cure poison from a character, and the other example being Shifta, Shifta being from the original series as well as Phantasy Star Online, and it's a technique that provides an attack bonus to characters. I imagine that in the TTRPG, these will do pretty much the same exact thing as they do in the video games. And characters who have innate magic abilities that grant them free techniques like this are said to gain additional techniques as they level. We got some news for professions. Professions would be like your class in Dungeons & Dragons. One was for the operative. This has two paths you can take. One is based off of Sheer, the thief from Phantasy Star 2, and is probably a rogue, sneaky type character. And then the other is the investigator. This is modeled after the protagonist from Phantasy Star Adventure. Phantasy Star Adventure released in Japan only on the Sega Game Gear, and it's sort of a choose-your-own-adventure game. I think it was clever to use that game for inspiration for one of these subclasses, and I expect that the investigator class will be focused on perception, investigation. I'm thinking something like a detective. The operative does not gain access to techniques, but can use special items. No examples on these yet. Professions have two new scores. One is an attack power score, and the other is a technique power score. And these scores or bonuses are added to your dice when you're using an attack with a weapon or casting a technique. Both of these scores increase as you level, but it's your profession that determines how quickly they increase. The example provided to us was that the warrior has its attack power increase faster than most other professions, whereas the Theurge, which is a Esper or Wizard type character, has their technical power grow faster than most other professions. Speaking of warriors, we know that they gain 3 weapon masteries and everybody else gains 2. Weapon mastery reflects that your character has particular aptitude with certain weapons that you choose, and when using weapons that they have mastery of, they might be able to trigger additional effects. This will take us into news on accessories and gear. Some equipment has a gear grade, with most starting equipment starting at grade 0. As characters advance, they can gain higher grade gear, either by upgrading their equipment, purchasing new equipment, finding treasure, or crafting new gear themselves. Higher grade weapons will deal more damage to your enemies, and if you have mastery of that weapon, you can potentially trigger different effects from it. Likewise, armor has different grades as well, though we don't have examples of what these improved grades do. The example provided to us was that an iron axe, wielded by the fighter Odin, would have been a grade 0 weapon, and his final weapon, the legendary Laconian axe, would have been a grade 4 weapon. There are a few accessories that were listed from the book. These included a translator ring, likely for translating the speech or thoughts of other creatures that you don't share a language with, the light pendant, which creates light, and mantles that you can wear to provide increased defenses. 2 kits were shared, the Support Caster Kit and the Combat Caster Kit. These were designed specifically with androids in mind. The android species cannot cast techniques, but installing these upgrades your hardware and allows you to use techniques. This comes from a discrepancy created by Phantasy Star 3, where the android Ren could cast techniques, and Phantasy Star 4, where the android Ren and other androids cannot cast techniques. And while this was designed with androids in mind, other species can use this to gain the ability to cast techniques if their profession normally doesn't allow them to do so. We know that there are a limited number of accessories designed for the game, with most of the gear focus being on upgradable and customizable equipment. We know that mags are also mentioned in the book, but they're not statted out, so presently if your character uses a mag, which is a type of creature from Phantasy Star Online, it attaches to a player and provides them bonuses as it grows, somewhat similar to a familiar from Dungeons & Dragons, but at present, mags are purely description-based in the TTRPG, with hopes to expand upon them with an actual rule set and future supplements. And those are all the updates I have for you today. This Twitch stream was a follow-up to the Gen Con seminar that sold out very quickly, and if you attended that Gen Con seminar and learned any little bits of news that we didn't get repeated at the Twitch stream, I'm sure everybody watching and reading these comments would greatly appreciate if you'd share any details with us, however small they might be. And that's it. That's the show, so until next time, never use your tongue to stop a fan.